to another episode of Dope Dealer TV Radio. I'm Cleo Badashian. This is Rory. This is Chris. And over here we have Ange. You're going to see her in and out.
Lena Created, hey.
Okay. So you liked our first episode. We're back. You said you liked the coffee. We're open again. We got more coffee for you. So this time we're getting more direct. Now, Valentine's Day just took place. So we're going to discuss 4 types of love. And Ange, you want to get into it?
Okay, so we decided to get a little deeper. We're going to talk about all the different types of love that exists, right? All the different nuances of love, right? We have Eros, which is the erotic, passionate love that you find for your lover, for your boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever, right? You have Philia, which is the love of friends and your equals, like your peers. You have Storge, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing it, or Storge, I think is the correct pronunciation, which is the love for your parents or for your children. And then you have Agape, right? Which is the love of mankind as a whole, like just the love of humanity, the love of society, right? And we're going to talk about like what we feel, you know what I mean? We feel on that subject, and then how we think society is operating in that space, and, you know, just however the conversation goes. So should be a real interesting one, because we're being joined by gentlemen. So we have the masculine element and the feminine element.
Yes. Very necessary.
Have a very well-rounded conversation, hopefully.
So we're going to hop right into it because it's important. This involves everything. So first we'll start with Eros.
Right.
Eros.
Right. So okay. When you hear that word, immediately you always think about the sexual element of that. Well, yeah. So that basically is gonna be just like the male and female element. We could talk about like the way that men and women are different when it comes to that. Like, what is it that we're actually looking for when it comes to our mates? Cleo, you want to start off?
I guess so. So at some point in my life, you know, after going over a lot of stupidity, you got to be honest with yourself, because it connects to all 4. You have to know who you are, because you don't want to waste people's time and stuff. And you just have to see things for what it is. So a lot of times people live in a fantasy, and I guess men have their way and women have their way. It's both, you know, nature, and it all comes down to how you think. It all comes down to how you think at the end of the day, and how you feel. But you should still have, I'm not going to say you should still, because it's up to you. If you want to have morals, your principles, it's your universe, it's all in your mind. But what makes it a just playing field is being fair and allowing somebody else to make decisions, because you don't want to say you care about the person, but at the same time, you're doing something that'll make somebody be like, I thought you cared about them. You know what I mean? So it's just to keep it nice and I guess neutral, to say that's about it. Just knowing oneself. So every day I just try to work on Cleo. I really do. And that's first love. So as far as men, I guess we still try to figure it out, and sometimes our past experiences affect how we behave, because I try to ease up, but I get so much stuff all the time. But you have to hold accountability for it, because when you allow the person to do it, but 2, there is a reality of things happened to me before and I didn't see, because there was a fog there. But the fog came in when those actions took place, when you was with that person, and the feelings, you didn't get to clarify, you didn't clean the glass. Everyone's like, why are you still parked in a parking lot? Well, I can't see too good. If I start driving, I might hit stuff. So I'm gonna just stay here. So you gotta decide, I'm gonna clean those windows so I can see and think clearly and get where I gotta go. But some people like the dirt. It's comfortable, it's warm, keeps the cold out. Nobody's gonna ask me for no money. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, big dirt won't hurt.
Yeah, so, but that's all I gotta say about it. You just gotta be your best self. And if you care for other people, just be that, especially with the children. But as far as men and women, there just has to be a fairness to know yourself. And if you know you're gonna burden people or hurt people, stay away. But if you have a lot to offer and you keep fighting for it, it's even more beautiful. And woo woo woo, woo woo.
Okay, so a guy want to jump in with what they think, and then I'll jump in, and then we can alternate like that, so it's not just feminine, and then or if you want. What is your view?
I missed it. What were we saying?
Okay, we're talking about
Types of love.
types of love, right? We're talking about right now, the first type of love is eros, which is that sexual type of love, which is the only type of love that you have with your significant other, a lover, stranger, if you're into that type of thing. And my question was, what is your perspective on that, right? And how do you see women's approach to that versus a man's approach to that, and how do you feel about it in today's society?
I would say, speaking for myself, I don't usually put 100 into it. I just live, I just practice good faith. So I pretty much say I can't really speak for how another individual, like another man, might perceive it, because everybody's on their own life. Certain people are not, but then certain people are on the same wavelengths where they can vibrate together. But some people, they going through things in life, and wishing the best. Shalom.
Okay. All right, interesting. I feel like niggas is holding back a little bit, but it's okay. It's all right. We gonna get into it anyway. My thing, my perspective on it is that men and women have been socially engineered in a type of way to actually operate in certain types of way when it comes to sexuality and actually engaging with one another. We've been trained in a certain type of way to see sex in, like, for instance, women have had a lot of shame associated with our sexuality, right? And we're told that there are certain boundaries as to how we can operate where it can still be considered respectable, right? And men have different boundaries, right? Where are there boundaries? That's the question, right? Like, what are the boundaries? Like, where you do have boundaries is more in your sexuality, like who you could, like what gender you can engage with while still being respected, right? you can only be in that heterosexual box while still, maintaining. Yeah, that is the only space that you guys can operate. But where you don't have boundaries is like the frequency and the publicity of your escapades or your interactions inside of that space. So I just feel like it's kind of like a little bit unfortunate that we don't have as much communication like about this type of thing, and like people are not communicating. Like even in relationship, it's difficult to actually get your needs met sometimes because we're not communicating with one another. We're not getting to the nitty gritty of like what it is and what is it that we've been through. So some people go through traumas that prevent themselves from being able to interact with one another, and that can be sad too. I don't know. And I feel like isn't there, I don't know. I find it so hard to talk about too. It's like
shy?
It's
so hard to,
it's
it's a little bit bashful. Like, I don't know. Why is it like that?
Because
I mean, do you feel like in this circle you feel like you'll be judged for what you say? I feel like that's the only thing that would make you want to be shy or bashful, is like the hesitance of being judged. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I know. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we come from we are in different spaces. I feel like men, they operate in such a, like, I don't want to say disgusting, but like, you know what I mean? It's like, huh?
Did you say upgrade?
No, disgusting.
Disgusting.
You said men
But-
are disgusting?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the things that we hear, a lot of things that we hear about, there are a lot of things that we hear about as far as like what you guys get into is like on some, like, if women were in that in that space, you know, that it would just be
Chaos.
totally taboo. Yeah, no, I mean, totally taboo. Like, even
Because
when
we'll
you
hear things we don't want to hear, see things we don't want to see because we're not built that way. And then it's in
Right.
this world, you gotta just accept it. You can see the music.
I feel like it's trust. You know what I mean? Like,
Boundaries.
it's
trust.
hard for couples to be open with each other without the fear of being judged, without that comfort of the trust. And it's a slippery slope because
But start from before relationship, the relation between men and women. Because we'll say as women, we have stories from where we was in, you know, rooms with men and they didn't hear us. I got girlfriends that be like, I gave him nigga advice. And as soon as he heard it out of his mouth, that's when he heard it. Just things like that. So sometimes what happens is we separate that from the relationship. But what happens is once you two people get together, and that's what causes arguments, because the man's still in his nature. And when he's by himself and no one's there to check him, not that anyone should, no one's checking the situation, no one's really being heard. Because sometimes the woman, she's built different. She's emotional. She just wants to make sure, do you hear me? Because
the
sometimes
psychological part of it.
because deep down women know, men don't really want to hear us talk like that, but it's like, well, is this gonna, you know, go anywhere? Because this is my energy right here. And a lot of niggas don't want to hear that because they got something else going on in their head. That's why I said it should be level, especially within themselves before you get another person involved.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or just understand what your situation is.
I feel like
Kindness matters.
another thing I want to say is that I feel like also men kind of use sexuality as like a stress relieving tool. Like, it's almost like, you know what I mean? They can actually, and that's where women have to be careful, because he will literally just deposit his negative energy into you if you allow that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he comes in angry because
I'll give you an example. That mommy relationship, that mommy I can fuck relationship. You're able to provide for me right now. Because how many times you got a phone call from a friend, she's complaining about him. It's like, yeah, but what are you doing?
yeah.
You can't tell the nigga don't like you. Stuff like that. You ever had somebody call you, it's like, you can't tell? No, I meant to, you know.
yeah, I know
But-
you're trying to tap me to ask me what you're saying.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I clearly understand what you're saying. I guess just when it comes to sexuality, it's comfort zone for most people because of the lack of trust. Most people are dealing with some sort of trust issue,
Yeah.
whether it's the trauma from childhood, trauma from lack of parenting, or whatever the case may be, bullying, abuse, whatever. That comfortability or lack of comfortability kind of affects sexuality too. But the most important thing that I feel like me as a man, I understand that me personally, I cannot be with a woman that doesn't stimulate me sexually.
And some men don't hear you when you don't give that to them. Because some women will be in a meeting or just even private conversation, and it's like it's not sexual. Because when I was shooting videos for people, a lot of time it just went towards sex. But it wasn't my fault, but there were things I could have done extra, just, you know, as far as money.
A different way, like,
Right, but it's people with that mindset. So it always comes back to self again.
Mhm.
You know, because you used to tell me, Angelo, Cleo, it all comes back to you. This must have been here because it manifested and just come out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
It's the fear of it too. Like when you
Yeah,
if you have a fear or like a concern, and then you don't actually, because the thing is, like, if you look at for instance, have you ever seen like what's her name, Melissa Ford, the model,
Yeah.
the like video vixen, right? She said that she used to always basically, she invoked an air about herself that was a level of respect, like a level of respect where they never would actually overstep that boundary, because they could see, you know what I mean? She carries herself a certain type of way where it's like they would basically hell to pay if I fucking touched her ass or I did some shit like that. They would be held to pay. You get what I'm saying? Like it was.
She went on a set and she was like, "Woman, it is." She was like, "We're not doing this," but she did a good job and she has the look too. But she showed it's possible. You don't have to be filthy. So that must be y'all wanting to be dirty, but you be like, "Oh, my trauma." Yeah, but come on, you know right.
Money, you know how it's gonna play the role.
Isn't just feeding addiction? And how deep? Are we talking subconscious mixed with conscious?
That's what an addiction?
How can I say it clearly? I guess sexual behavior. Not that someone, not in a
promiscuous this, being a freak. I feel like it's human nature.
No, not it being nature, but just how people are playing with it. Because some people be like, well, something happened to me, so
some people don't regulate it with rules.
Yeah, some people are over sexualized. They basically
absolutely not. Don't try to like conform people to a box and restrict them from expressing themselves by titling it and attacking.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that somebody may have actually.
Are we in court right now and I'm bringing up evidence? Hey, we're bringing up the sex tapes. Me and Angela was having a conversation early in the morning. Kids was dropped off. We had our tea.
Okay.
And we said to each other, she was talking about a sex tape and she was just like, you know, describing it to me. And I said to her, well, why does everyone keep coming out with one? Is it an accident? And what she said to me was, she kept it simple. She said, sometimes it's just self-respect. So it kind of just put me back in perspective of stop overthinking. You thinking about it too much. People gonna do what they do.
Take control.
People want to pretend like they didn't give it no pro.
But you
no,
can't.
If you're a freak, be a freak. But at the end of the day, regulate it with some kind of rules.
Just don't abuse it.
Yeah.
This kids, I don't hear nobody saying anything about the children.
That has nothing to do with
Yes, it does. Because when I was on Fulton Street in Nostrand, they had a poster up of naked men touching each other on Nostrand and Fulton. And it stayed up. In a white neighborhood, that would have been taken down in 5 minutes.
Every episode that they promoted, you watched it.
But you could tell your kids to turn off the TV.
Every episode of Power, you watched it.
But you could tell your kids to turn off the TV. If I gotta go pick you up from school and we have to take this way, but then again, we just explained it to the kid. That's the best we can do.
I don't think the issue is the sexuality part of it. It's just it's about the fact that there's something.
Yeah, but still, let's be responsible. Stop saying that.
It doesn't matter
right?
Man, exactly. Man to man, like why are we seeing sexuality on the road?
Do what you do just behind doors. Don't plaster it everywhere.
What if people are excited about doing it outside?
No. There's people excited about murder and smut.
That's different. That's harming somebody. That's completely different from
expressing
the passion, the love, and the admiration that you may physically be able to express with somebody who
naked outside.
Some people will ask you about the gay parade.
Y'all like 2 big ass scoops of vanilla ice cream. And
no,
like real plain.
Because look at the gay parade.
It's society, right? You should be able to guard your child's eyeballs from all of those explicit adult things. You're supposed to be able to.
Okay, what about before we were indoctrinated with our forced civilization and we lived outside and we lived in huts and we like those people walking around.
Those people were not.
Those people sound American.
No, I don't sound American.
Yes, you do. It's just out. Hey, but they still.
I'm saying that the power that we give it, whether it's negative or positive, comes from us.
Right, and we're American. How do Americans think of sex? To the point where it does matter because there's a degree of it. And that's why I say the kids matter. And it does upset me when people don't talk about the kids. They're like, let people be free. Yeah, but when you let them be too free, and once they start to leave the mud over in your house, all of a sudden it's a problem.
How did we go from talking about the way men and women partners express
We got to it
sexuality to having to consider
because we went to expression, and I'm just the little dot in the ink well, just saying, just let's keep in mind the kids.
Okay,
because you're
no,
talking about
copy, I got you.
expression,
No, I got you.
Right?
It jumped over me the
but
first
when it
time,
comes
I got
to media, especially in your neighborhood, it really was crazy to see that it was just oiled up men, like,
you. Right, right.
you know what I'm saying? Or Nostrand and Fulton.
Listen, I'm
Where
quite
they
not
didn't
in
get out of the
shows.
train.
that they were touching one another. The touching part is the part that is the issue, because even if it was a man and a woman, right?
And just looking down at the other guy's
You know what I'm
business.
saying? Like
It was
touching.
obvious.
And your little kid is just like walking,
Listen,
touching, like, come on now. That's not my daddy. That's not in the
And some people are perverse with it. 'Cause
Yo,
I've had-
any of y'all be scrolling through Facebook and then you see like an ad for like no homo with penis enlargement pills?
Yeah.
And you can see it like a real live porn scene, like on Facebook.
like,
Maybe your teenagers looking at that if they're adult controls that
Yeah. Because
Never
once
seen
they-
that.
But see, it's believing also, and we should also have principles of minding these things, because this is what keeps civil organization, which is very imperative. People don't believe in it; they just want to do what they want to do. And then when we have problems, they're like, "Well, who's going to do something?"
Yeah.
Why? Because you're so immersed in what you're doing already. Can we please consider the kids and stop saying, "Well, you know, we just want to have." Forget the fun. It's serious out here.
Mhm.
Because if it came down to losing out on these things
Mhm.
and really having to survive, because nobody wants to think like that. They want to laugh until it's done.
Right.
You understand? So you just have to be centered, and we really got to consider the kids. Because I remember somebody sat me down one time. They were all staring at me like it was funny, and I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden they put a porn on the TV, and in my head as a little girl, I'm like, what are they about to do? Because they all just looking at me. And I was like, okay. I just got up and left. I was
Can we
Yeah.
talk about all the dodgy stuff that happened during childhood?
kids by themselves,
Oh my God.
especially when it's like, it's crazy. That's all. Just you gotta have. What's wrong with some cool? Nobody wants to have cool anymore.
Play about it and go to bed.
Because at some point, you don't think things get saturated where people be like, all right, what's next? Or do we just class it up and then reserve it
Put
to
your
them?
tablet in the hallway.
So the weirdos out there.
They be like, don't post your kid on the internet, but it's like the girl in Don't Call Me White Girl, she says something that people don't like to say. No, let's sit there and be like, don't go in the basement, Uncle Tommy's down there. She's like, but why is he still there? That's the main question. Why is he
Yeah.
still there? Why you keep hushing it and shushing
That's
it?
because they scared of Uncle Tommy.
Keyword fear, but then
Scared
when it happens
of
to generations,
getting ostracized by Uncle Tommy. That's all.
right? But this is what I'm saying about think about the kids, because it happened to the grandpa and the son and the son's son. How did that happen? No, I'm serious. These are real stories. It's
Yeah, no,
silly.
that really
But this is
did
like
happen.
logical, common sense thinking. So y'all really that scared?
That's because the level of manipulation is very deep seated. You know, that person that's the family serial abuser. They were also abused by someone. You know what I mean? It's like a ongoing cycle.
So nobody wants to do anything. It's like being
No,
in
no, it's a part of it's a part of
it.
it don't ever be just that one molester. It always be like a line of them. You know what I mean?
Oh
It's-
yeah, because they always go
Society
to the
of it.
nephew and
It'd be
stuff.
it'd be a part of their family. It'd be a part of their family structure. That's why it ends up being like something that they hide, because it's not the only one. Like it'd be that uncle, but it also was the grandpa was doing some weird shit. Like it's just a part of it. Like little weird touching has been a part of it. Maybe not everyone was like a full on molester, but like it's always been some like weird energy. And that,
Someone just has to be like, yo, this is nasty. Let's just stop. And matter of fact, I'm gonna come out and say it. We all gonna talk about it. Y'all wanna hide and not talk about it. We're gonna talk about it and decide to stop. I think that's all it takes is balls. I know we're getting too off topic, but I think that's all it takes. Just balls. Somebody
well,
say
okay.
it.
One other thing I want to talk about is like because the men, they have a huge problem with like you know the implements that women have sometimes, you know, like for instance there's a war going on for that toy. Have you ever seen that toy, the rose toy?
Mm-hmm.
I keep hearing that. I never seen it.
Niggas hate that shit.
Oh.
They're like hell no, how we gonna compete with that shit? Oh, no. And then they came out with another one that got a little part that go boop, 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 boop. And then the other thing is like suck, 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 suck. It's like boop, 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 suck, suck. So they're like, oh hell no.
You'll be a fucking a walk-in electrical shock. You be buzzing around the fucking world.
Don't feel threatened,
that
no.
shit.
I wouldn't.
They was threatened. I'm telling you, on Twitter, they was like,
Oh, that's stupid.
they were like, oh hell no.
That's for them. But when you a man, I'm not a man, but I'm just saying, there's nothing like having a man there. You know what I mean? Like, that's just my opinion. It's just different. But that is just.
It sure is different. It sure is different. But
Ain't nothing like the real Well, that's a whole fact.
That's just for people that need that extra. That's their business. You saw that movie? Can we talk about this? There was a movie called Kids or Good Boys. Good Boys. And there was a scene where the boy was playing with his parents' sex toy. And I just thought about it. I'm like, you really hired, that's really a 12-year-old on a set of a movie.
oh yeah.
Contract was to lift that dildo. Now, mind you, no one used it, but just the concept and that y'all made.
Yeah, just the access to it, you know what I mean? Just like having a scene like that existing of him like interacting with that joint.
But they've been showing you crazy stuff before.
You know what else I saw in the Twitter thread with that rose thing?
It's ACS now.
There was a guy.
What's ACS?
The Child Protective Services and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Where they out on these movie sets, little ass kids.
Oh no, that's money. That's a whole
Mhm.
different
They don't
ball
care.
game. You work for the city, you stay where you put. That's not your concern. They wouldn't even think to do that.
There was this guy in the thread, right, talking about the rose. He was like, oh, so y'all can have this, and we have a little fresh fleshlight, and we're perverts, huh? The fleshlight.
God, you minimalizing the argument.
It's like a little flashlight that got a little gummy thing inside, and they use it as like a male sex toy. So he was.
So there's no sex dolls.
If we have one of that, we're perverts, but y'all can have all these technologies, and it's all good.
Well,
I feel like if women treated us better, we don't even need them.
What? That's our argument. Why are you taking our?
I'm just saying because I feel like men only use that shit alone.
Oh, that's for people that have no one.
No, but there's a different promiscuity behind it. Men and women aren't the same.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone should say respectfully, stay on your side. Now, when we come together and we're going up, then we'll come together. But as far as like stuff like that, like toys and stuff, now if you get with someone and they've been doing that or they want to get into it, respect it. But or just be a part of it or whatever.
What if your partner introduces you?
Don't whine about it, especially if you're a guy.
What if your partner's requesting something that you're not into?
Huh?
How do you handle that if your partner's requesting something that you're not into?
Well, talk about it and be honest with yourself. That's all you can do. It all comes back to you.
Do you feel like your relationship would be safe?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to think deep about it because it might open extra questions. You know what I mean? Like if somebody calls you and they're like, hey, my other significant other, whether you're a man or woman, like they wanted to do this with this person. Does that mean, things like that? You just got to be careful because sometimes it shows you where a person's mind is at, but it's also how you present the package. Hold on. Before that, what type of people got together? Hold on. Before that, what type of person were you before you got with that person? And the main key is the communication, even down to like crimes. That's if you get that deep and you feel that I'm serious. And always explain and be open about it that it's not to hurt you or to incriminate myself, but I care about you enough to be thorough so you know what you're dealing with. So you can make a decision because I care what happens to your well-being. That's true. But a lot of people don't want to do that. Everybody got their feelings. Sometimes varieties occurs, especially with how you handle it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just feel like if not for reproduction, then what is the purpose of sex? Well,
like I said, do what you guys do. Some people like it as a stress reliever. Some people like it as whatever feeds, whatever. But it's how you do it. Are
So
you
you
in
feel like you
people's
don't feel like it's
curtains?
healthy for you?
Are you
Like,
abusive when you're doing it? Are you punching people in the face? Do you find yourself watching porn in weird places? Do you find that some people subconsciously no? Because I've seen people grab their crotch in public, and you can tell they watch. You ever see those guys? You can tell they're not the ones to whip out, but sometimes they watch so much porn they don't realize in public that they're grabbing themselves.
really?
Yeah, or people sometimes. No, because men be asleep.
Like, my shit is so sensitive. Like, if I even accidentally brush up against it, I like kind of know I brushed it. Like, wait.
No, but y'all men don't. I mean, you know when it's natural when you sleep. Because I've had homeboys over and I got brothers. When y'all sleep, y'all just be holding it. And sometimes you gotta wake a man up. Be like, listen, the children are here. You don't want them
I think
to.
that's because of the porn. I think they
Well,
literally.
not that,
It's
but
warmer between
mannerisms.
Like, it's
They
warmer
need to
between
make sure
like,
it's still there, like.
yeah.
my grandma
That's
used
not
to
from
say
the
that.
porn,
yeah,
but
sometimes for real, sometimes
It's part of
Michael
mannerisms.
Jackson used to do a move.
Sometimes you just touch it and feel that relief. Like,
God
hey,
bless us
yes,
all.
thanks.
They just need to make sure their little buddy is still there. Okay, so what about friendship love? Like how do men's friendships operate?
Straight trust.
How do you know
But
a
you
nigga
have
is
to
your
go back
friend
to friendship.
versus like just someone you know? Like how do you know that's your friend?
I'll clean it. Throw it in dirty clothes. It still goes back to self because everything's around you. Everything is mine. So when I call you guys and I complain about something someone did, it's like, but you know what I'm saying? It still goes back to you. Well, why are you hanging with someone like that? I didn't even think you would, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So Ange, I could be completely thorough with, you know what I'm saying? And I appreciate, this is how I see the friendship. Ange is she just has this very compute mind, you know what I mean? And she's very patient and she's kind and she's creative. It's like the perfect friendship. It's very befitting. And you know what I'm saying? And I could be thorough and she'll talk to you in a way where you think you won't get angry with her unless deep down you just can't compute or you're emotional. But she's very helpful. And, you know, I don't want to sound selfish because some people be like, well, what did your friend do for you? Because sometimes people need you, but don't let them drain you because then you're just a sucker.
Sometimes comfortability, stability, firmness, you know, those are some of the things that, you know, make up the building blocks of friendship. You know, friendship is not just one block. You know what I mean? It's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of situations, there's a bunch of turmoil, there's a bunch of trials, tribulations, there's a bunch of celebrations along the way. And, you know, and you just hope that you build that on something solid, you know?
And that is just, you know, watch who you have around, that's all. And
Company is definitely key.
yeah. And
Oh, my question was like mainly to men because I know how female relationships function. You know what I mean? I'll just say my perspective on the female so we can move on. Female friendships, like when we know a woman is your friend versus just like a girl that you know that's like an acquaintance, is that she's gonna be real with you. You know what I mean? About stuff that you know what I mean? She's not going to just be like fake. You get what I'm saying? She's not going to just tell you what you want to hear all the time. You're going to hear real shit. You're going to hear.
She's not going to be kidding around.
No, she's not going to pussyfoot around. You know what I mean? She's going to tell you the real life. She's going to tell you shit that you don't necessarily want to hear. And, you know, you could hear her actual real perspective. She might give you some examples based on her own experiences. You know what I mean? That's how I portray true friendship, is to actually give my friend a piece of my own personal wisdom and give advice based on what would help that person grow, like help that situation to be enhanced, right? So that try to make sure like that I'm helping to grow my friend, and I look for that in my friend too. Like I look for my friend to I can rely upon, and also be somebody that can be relied upon. You know? And I try to make sure that that's an equal situation, equally yoked friendship.
Yeah, not the one always calling when there's a problem. You're listening, and it's all it is. You know, you borrowing. At some point, it's being a fool. Some people crave friendship so much, they're not doing it the right way. But that's why you have to be right within. That's all. And sometimes it's okay to be by yourself because you gotta let your energy just woosah before you go and fraternize with others. That's how you gonna know which color is yours. You
That's
just,
a fact.
Mine
That's
just
a fact.
happened. Well, I mean,
Yep.
it's hard with the dog.
You know somebody's not your friend. You know somebody's not your friend when you could see the fake shit. Like you could see certain things. Like she's putting you in a position. Like you could see her if she ever puts you in a position where you're going to be harmed in some way, either emotionally or physically or financially. Like she'll allow those things to happen without giving you no type of warning, like, oh, I see this might happen. Careful, you know what I'm saying? Where you can actually make a decision. She actually allows you to walk into a room or walk into a situation where she already knew what was gonna happen and she allowed it to happen, or you know what I mean, or allowed you to talk a certain type of way. You know, just like kind of just being shady. Like you could see the shade, like.
Then I push you forward. You push me forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of times, and you helped sharpen me a lot. That's one thing I appreciate about my friendship with you. A lot of times it was like, okay, relax, pinpoint some things, and be like, all right, now think. I'm like, oh yeah, like hello. You know what I mean? So I think love, but it doesn't have to be gushy love. More like I'm becoming better, and I know you could be better. And I can't say something about it. Yeah. Because a lot of people, they would just sit there. Well, I thought you could have said something. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, don't be offended if you have a friend they're like one of those people. They just kind of sit there and watch. They expect you to be sharper. Sometimes you have to watch who you're doing stuff with, and like I said, different types of friendships. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Our friends.
I think a big moment in our friendship was that time when we had a storm, bruh, and niggas couldn't see, and we had to push that shit through the thing. We didn't even know where our fucking kids were because there was so much gushing rain coming down from the sky, bro. And we had to.
We know. We did have to work together. That's how we got through. But tell them how it started and how quick it started. It was like magic.
Bro, why was we still on that beach, bro? We seen that cloud coming.
Because with beach bums.
It was totally underestimating that situation.
But the wind went 100 miles per hour.
And the music video came out wild good. Where the hell is where's the footage of that? That's
good. It's in Gmail.
That video was so good.
I couldn't breathe. My eyes were getting scratched by sand. The water was choking me. And I just took everything in me and I screamed at the kids, follow Bro, because Bro's going to be in his house.
She was pushing the cart, right? And I couldn't see. None of us could see. Like, it's like you drowned in rain. Like it was like,
get out of here! Go get those kids. I got this.
And we try to locate our kids and get them like across the street and shit like that. And she suddenly stops pushing that thing, starts screaming and running, turning in a circle, screaming.
No, because it felt like someone scratching your eyes.
Oh my God.
And I looked at Grace and she gave me that look like, bitch, if you stop. And I was like, I needed that. And then I just gathered myself together and I just like closed my eyes for a second. And I was like, all right. Because my main fear is that ocean about to come up real quick?
Yeah, that part was scary.
Get to the bridge.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I was afraid that the ocean was going to
How far were y'all by the water?
We was right by the water. We were right by the water, and then the rain started coming down, and then the ocean started going nuts. Like the ocean started going.
No, tell them about the tornado on the beach.
The wind came and took everything, but that we owned. Like it took the umbrella. Like that wind was trying to take us, and like, I was scared that it was gonna push. It was gonna like throw the kids in the air. Like it was just like I didn't know.
If they were in that tent, they would have went down the beach.
Then we had all those electronics. Then I was scared that we were gonna get fucking electrocuted with that metal cart and all those electronics. Like I was like, what is good?
Oh yeah, we got up the stairs and Ange looked at me. She said, "Hold on, Cleo," and she was like, "The batteries, take the batteries out." I'm like, "They're out." She's like, "No, check, take them out." She's like, "This is metal." I'm like, "Let's just go." She's like, "Make sure the fucking batteries out." I'm like, "It's out." And I'm looking at the kids. They scream. I'm like, "You better stop." I said, "We're gonna make it." And then that's when the sand said, "Oh yeah."
You
And
had
then
to throw them
like,
in the
okay,
pit. You
you're
put
gonna
them
turn
in
it
the
up.
pit. Oh my God, what a madness.
But Grace pushed me because I needed that.
Yes, Grace saved us. She was
I
like
know
the
you feel like
mommy. I
you're
swear
dying.
to God. I was like, Grace really like, oh my God, she made me feel not so
Like an angel.
a bit like I feel a little safe, like because she was like got of the way. She was like, come on this way. We were like, I was like, okay.
Yep. She was like, "Move your ass." I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
It felt like a military moment. Like we
Hell
prepared you.
yeah. Thank
Don't
God
be
for
emotional.
that.
Just get to that band. But it was scary because the wind. I never felt wind like that in my
Oh,
life.
bro,
I
I
stood
didn't
outside during
feel
Sandy.
like that. Rain. It was raining and windy as hell and sand. Like
Flooding.
assaulted by 3 different forces of nature. It was awful. I swear to God. I swear to God. I swear to God. It felt like an act of God though. It felt like literally like you stayed too long on my
You leaving bottles and stuff, all these cups.
Yo, when that rain started coming down, we looked around and there wasn't a soul on that beach. Like we was so in the zone that we
Only people there.
the beach cleared out. Like there was no one there. We was
Yeah, because it
all
was so
gone.
night. We had snacks. We had lights. It was
It was
nice.
the middle of the night. Oh my God, scary. We
And I don't think the
and-
wind was
oh
long.
my
to be
God,
honest.
awful.
I don't know
Awful,
about-
awful.
That's crazy.
We looked up and then it was just a wall of wind coming and it took the
Wow.
tank. And she said, "Get the kids." I was like, "All right, cool. Y'all doing that." I grabbed the electronics and stuff. We packed
It
them.
happened like instantly. It was an instant storm. Like it didn't even happen gradually. It was instant. Like
That's what caused more panic and you really had to calm yourself down and get to the parking lot. Because it really seemed like that water might come up. I was just picturing.
oh my God.
Splash.
Oh my God. And even when we got in the truck, I was praying. I was like, Lord God, please let us get through this. Let us not have any kind of accident on the road. We're trying to get God, Jesus, please.
It was crazy.
Yep. But yeah, that's how our friendship is that's how solid our relationship. Listen,
In a moment like that.
that locks us in for life, man. Because that's what
But you still was logical. Are the batteries out? This is not enough source of death. Take the batteries out, the electronics. It was
listen.
like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
That'd be a freak accident.
Hell yeah. That's what I was thinking about. That's so crazy that's what I was thinking about because I'm seeing like this bright light and all these lights and shit coming off the thing. I'm like, bro, we gotta push this. We cannot get electrocuted doing this. And I was scared. Like,
I don't
Yeah.
She was like, no.
all right,
She
so
was thinking
so
ahead.
male relationships, like how do you know like somebody's your friend? Like you have to go get in a fight with him, like what?
I guess it's just like a feeling. You feel it. You become endeared to that person. Like they annoy you, but even so much with the annoying ish, you still gravitate back towards that person. You know what I mean? So it grows into a friendship. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy and it's supposed to last forever because not all friendships are intended to last forever. We hope that they reach that period of time. However, that's not the standard. That's what we're taught to believe, but that's not.
Oh,
reality.
think of your oldest and dearest friend. How did that person become like a brother to you?
Oldest and dearest friend. Damn. Wow. Sad. I feel hurt to even have to even go through what I'm going through on the inside to even answer that question. Like, I don't even think I got one. Word. I don't even think I got one. Like I grew up in a penitentiary, and in there, it ain't really no friends. We like entertain each other and associate with each other to pass the time. However, it's like if you ain't got a co-defender that you did some shit with when you went there, then it's like, nigga, y'all niggas ain't my friend. Like, let me not get it twisted. Even being a gangbanger, just because we bang in the same gang don't fucking make us friends. We obligated by responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Like, so with that being said, I don't know. Like literally, I feel like Joey is like a friend of mine. You know what I mean? And me and him having known each other for like extensive period of time. You know what I mean? It's just that he came into my life during a crazy point in time, a crazy period of time. And because he was able to weather the storm that I was weathering at that time, he kind of like earned his spot and became my friend that way.
Yeah.
We got a lot of history built on that. So the friendship is still fragile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Some people step in during your tragedies and then they be like,
Right. They feel a void.
Yeah.
The emptiness that you feel about being alone.
A trauma bond. That's a trauma bond.
Yeah, hell yeah. And that's what it is. He's dumping on you, you dumping on him.
Yeah.
And every day y'all just get together and just dump on each other.
Yeah. Trauma bond.
And it's like either he's gonna have to pull you out or you're gonna have to pull him out, and y'all gonna have to start dumping about something different.
yeah, but y'all pouring the same bucket of water into each other's buckets. You gotta filter it and then irrigate it.
Right, but it's not healthy because
Exactly.
he's leaving with twice as much shit than what he came with. He only came with his issue. But when he leave, I'm giving his issue back plus mine.
And he's giving you some of his. So now.
Right. And I'm leaving with two issues too. The water doesn't evaporate. It doesn't spill. We hold
It's
it.
not even that. There were seeds in that water, and now you got like trees growing that don't even belong to you.
Right. You got unhealthy growth. And it's tearing up. It grows. It's like weeds is growing. It's tearing up all your good growth.
Wow.
One bad apple.
That's deep.
Oil the bunch, baby.
That's deep. So what about you, Chris? What is your what is your take on like what is the oldest and dearest friend of yours and how that person became your friend, like how you know that was your friend?
Shit, I ain't gonna lie. I had two good friends, I'm gonna say, like two good honest friends I could really pinpoint and I could say that had my best interest basically. That wasn't really out here trying to just use me for what I'm worth, you know. And certain people, you know, when you're young or whatever, they'll try to use you. Because they figure you just don't know, like, you know, certain people that look a certain way, like you might look young, you know, you might get past for certain things, you know.
You might look green.
Yeah.
Nigga might see you.
But you really commit, you know, doing whatever act, but it's like you're not the guy that they pinpoint and look for.
They think you're the Jolly Green Giant, but you really the fucking Incredible Hulk. You know what I mean?
But yeah, my boy, I'm gonna start off with day one. I'm gonna take it from the past to the future. My first friend, I'm gonna say Marvin. He was Jamaican. He was from Jamaica. He was from the islands. When I first met him, he had moved to the block. He had moved to. It was a kid that was named Chris. He had the same name as me, right? And it's crazy. I moved to the block. I was just playing one day, but Chris had everything. Like all the new bikes. His father looked like he worked in Manhattan somewhere. So he would always like drive the new. That's when we had like the big wheels. Remember the little big wheels? It's like a big wheel in the front, two little bit in the back. So I remember going over there and I actually probed myself before I went over there. Yeah. I actually probed myself before I went over there because I was kind of shy. I didn't want to go over there like on some rave shit and be like, well, hey, because I really wanted to just.
I was about to say, what was your ulterior
he had
motive?
certain things that I didn't have because I lacked it.
Yeah.
So you want the barter system that thing out? Like, yo, I got some shit you don't got.
I figured like, hey, I could be like an assistance to it, right? Help them with it or learn about it. You know how kids be thinking, you know, you just go with the thought, you just think that's it.
Yeah, one track mind. You just pursue that shit.
Yeah, but one weird thing to another, that was the smartest thing I ever did.
Really? Oh yeah, because he became your friend, right?
Yeah, I actually went over there and I just introduced myself like, hey, my name is Chris. He said, wow, my name is Chris. And I was like, wow. That was the first time I ever met a friend and his name was Chris, but then he moved. And he
Oh,
just disappeared. I used to always get up, go to his crib early in the morning, 7. I get up, or clockwork, throw my
Daddy
shoes,
probably
throw my
was a
shoes on,
Mhm.
and walk right across the street and
Yeah,
knock on
no.
the door. And they let me right in.
Regular schedule.
his daddy probably was a drug dealer.
Yeah, I think he did stocks or
That's
something.
it,
They always
like
came with a
that.
suit. He looked like a music teacher, like a Ron say or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
good. You never know, man. Can't judge a book by its cover. Surprise.
Nah, but Marvin, God bless his soul.
Oh, he passed?
Yeah, he passed away when I was incarcerated.
Oh, man.
And he had came looking for me when I was going. You know, and my mom, she's like, I don't know, she just, you know, I understand, you know, women intuition, you want to protect your child. So it's like anybody that came looking for me,
So I want to keep you away from that.
right?
So,
So it's like, oh no,
That's only
he's
right.
good, he's not alright.
That's only
No, I
right.
can't give him your number, you know. So that kind of stuck with me when he passed away because I couldn't go to his funeral. But this is what I say made our friendship even stronger. What it is. We go over there with Queens and Baisley Pond. Like, we were so young and crazy and devilish. It was just outlandish. Like we used to be like, if like you know, you do little kiddie games like
Mhm.
who could do it the illest or
Right.
who could go the furthest. We're on Baisley Pond. It was like real cold. You know, Baisley Pond freezes at a certain time,
Mhm. I should have came right
but
at
it gets weaker in the middle.
Hell yeah.
So
Mm.
we never go there. We kids. You know,
Oh
we
my
both
God.
don't know how to swim.
Mm.
Right? So
Wow.
and that thing is deep. So
You got on top of that thing? Oh my God.
yeah, we're on the ice, like trying to reach for a twig. Like I reached for the twig. Like I was more agile to him than him, I'm gonna say.
So it was like, I'm going to hold your arm
Yeah,
and you reach for the
maybe,
twig.
yeah, I think maybe it was. I knew that it was the ice was getting very thin right there.
Mhm.
So it was the way that I reached for the twig. But this was like, it sounds so weird, but it was like, it escalated so quick into like a real live event
Get
where
the fuck out. They caved in?
he went in the water. He fell in the water and he was holding onto the
Yeah.
ice. He reached for the twig.
Mm.
Now I ran off the ice because I was like, oh, I thought it was all coming down. So now I think, I ain't gonna lie, this the kid in me though, I was laughing. Like, ah, but then it just snapped into me like, laughing, I was just like, no, this is my friend. So I
Yeah.
thought fast. I was like, oh, wow.
Freezing cold.
And he's like, save me, my friend. I'm like, oh.
Mm.
I ran right over there,
That's
and
how
I just went straight into like,
Oh, you said
it was like I was laughing, and then I just went straight into like, you would have thought I was like a rescue mission or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
How old you said you
Yeah,
was?
yeah.
Oh shit, I was 13. Marvin was 2 years younger than me. He's the same age as Christina, my sister.
11. That's some frightening shit.
And he knew how to cook jerk chicken and all of that at that age. He was coming to
Yeah,
my
because they
crib
run up.
cooking jerk chicken and all that shit. Boy,
You
he
was
fucking
Jamaican?
cut up. Who, me? No, I'm not
Marvin was
Jamaican.
Jamaican.
Marvin was Jamaican.
The kid, yeah.
Marvin was one of my friends that I could seriously say, which is messing my head up when my mother never took his number from me. But he always used to, like, I used to wake up sometimes and he's in my house. Oh, I had to do something for your mom. She wanted me to prepare some food. And I'm like, wow, okay, he's making jerk chicken again. So, I'm getting some of that. But yeah, I'm making all stuff shut back to the Baisley Pond Act. The thing that built our friendship from that, and it was like we were sealed. If I never got incarcerated, he was doing his thing while I got it, when I went away. His father built 3 houses. They were heavy into real estate,
By hand, though. By hand.
He had a team of workers, of course, but
He was in construction.
it was his. He had more play into it, so it's like he's winning off of this. It ain't like he's working for somebody, He was like a real boy, Marvin's father, or Steven,
That's
his
cool.
little brother. I know his little brother's like probably 25, 27. He's probably tall as hell now. He was like a little scrawny kid. He used to always follow us around. He wasn't there that day with Marvin. It was just me and Marvin. And we was just doing little daredevil shit. But he fell into
Who was the
the
biggest
pond.
dead that we all heard?
That story is just like, ugh.
I'm gonna say me.
Mm.
It was like they all did it. It was like when I would always, I don't know what it was. I'm blessed. Because I ain't gonna lie, I can't swim. I don't know if he could have saved me. Like it could have went either way, you know
But
what
you
I
have
mean?
a heroic spirit, and I always say
You know?
that. And you know you do. And it's not a cocky thing.
Yo, I rescued him with the same twig that we were reaching for.
Some people
Wow,
don't
that's
care, but
really
some people
symbolic.
get an adult.
That is
Because I
symbolic.
couldn't catch him with my hand. If I
Yeah.
would with my
He
hand,
pulled you right in.
that makes me get closer to him.
He pulled you right in.
Yo, I just did like this, and then it's like it was like a one shot, one deal. I grabbed pulled his hand, ate the leg. I said, "Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go." Whew, got the fuck out of there. He was all soaked from down here. He's like,
He's
"You
lucky
saved
man,
me, my
man.
friend." He said, "Wow." I always remember that story when I was incarcerated. That was one of the, you know, you got nothing but memories sometimes as you sit back
Mm-hmm.
before you go to bed. You know?
But they're nice
Yeah.
memories. And the memories like
Alvin
that
was a
remind
crazy
you of
friend.
who
He
you
was a
are.
good friend. I remember I rode my bicycle to Merrick in Queens from all the way from Guybrush because he had just came back from Florida before I had a car. I rode the bicycle all the way there, like. But yeah, that was the story of my friendship. Not to cut it short.
That's amazing. Like
Yeah.
coincidence that you ended up saving him with that stick, the same stick that you. It's like a movie.
I know, right? I couldn't believe it.
It's like that scene where they throw the stick and they showed you where they throw it. But most people would have panicked. Like some people would have been so scared.
Yeah.
Because when you think of winter, sometimes you don't, it's like it's cold out, I don't even want to go to work. But this boy fell and froze in cold water
Yo.
with no adults around. It was just him and
I
his
know it
little
was
buddy.
deep.
Well, his friend, because he was older.
I know
But you
it was
didn't
deep.
panic and run away.
I know it was deep because I seen him. It felt like he was straddling his feet, and he was holding on to the ice, and he was slipping, like he was holding on. You know? And I was like, yo, I gotta go get my boy. Word.
Yeah, because that guilt would have been crazy if you didn't try. Oh hell no, that would have been way worse.
AZ Pond.
You would have questioned your bravery. And
Hell
then
no, that shit would have fucked with him for the rest of his life. There's no way you can't live with that. If he'd have sunk down, oh hell no.
you gotta sharpen your character because guilt will weigh you down. The way you do it is you gotta fix your character. So
Yeah.
the more time goes on, it's gonna eat you up. But when you see things where you could step in, but not to hinder yourself, but it's mainly just meditation and inside before you do favors for people. Because sometimes favors turn ugly because people are crazy.
Yeah.
So we just try to become better in mind.
Yeah.
So we present ourselves to society and amongst others, like with some manners
Yeah.
and kind of just put together.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I guess you could get better because some people end up killing themselves when they just lose their mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Have
That's
to
the
be
man
like,
think if they shall become.
because if you think you could have saved them, then that's just like saying maybe you should become more brave or take some lessons or
Yo, it
practice
was
not
like
being so scared.
it was like I don't know what it was, but I was like, yo, I know what I'm doing, but it was like I felt like a compassion in it. Like I want to say.
Yeah, like it was just like instinct.
Yeah, I just felt like this is my brother or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Hardest way to get
Yeah.
him out, killing both of us. Like that's how I
Yeah.
was thinking about it. I'm like, yo, we both can't
Yeah.
see. How we get in this situation?
Whoa.
Daisy Pond?
Now you
What?
like dead devil.
Would you
What?
say it takes compassion
Yo, we were
being
so
hero?
far out. Oh my
I can
god.
imagine.
Oh,
I can imagine.
I just keep
Yo, we was
picturing
over
it.
there by the turn.
even in the
you know
summer.
the turn?
Mhm,
Alright,
dead end
we
block
started from what is that? By that store. It's a store right there, Al's. You know Al's
Mhm.
store?
Owls, yeah.
Yeah.
We started from that part of the lake, from the park.
To live over there, I know
Yeah.
exactly.
So
what
you know the
park
little
he's
park
talking
with the swing that they just built, like back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been around for a while.
With the sprinklers?
No, I swear.
Nah, that
No,
little
he's
park they
talking
put
about
right there when you
The
go
little
around the
kids
turn.
park.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the little
the one
kids
on the
park.
corner.
Yeah, like it was around the time they just put it there because we used to always walk to the park.
Wow.
And it was so cold that day, we were just thinking of, because we was just flipping over the swing, doing crazy things like, yo, flip over the swing and land on the bar. So we were like, hey, let's walk on the ice for the twig.
Oh my
And
goodness.
see who we go the furthest.
Mhm.
I couldn't believe how far we went.
Wow.
Danger.
When you did that turn back, like, damn.
Yo, when I ran
Yeah,
back, it was like I was laughing, but I wasn't running. I was like this. Then I just thought about it. I said, that's my friend. I said, hell no, nigga. Turned around and I just seen him like, he was like, save me, my friend. Like, hold on to the ice, but you know, he can't really catch a grip. That's what really made me like, okay, I gotta get him. I know I can't grab his hand because we both want to drown. Can't swim, Chris.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh shit, a stick. grab the stick. I said, yo, grab the stick. He grabbed the stick. And I said, yo, I just pulled him. When I pulled him, I just jerked him. He didn't even know. I grabbed his hand. I had like a good little, whatever I had. I didn't even have his whole hand. My nigga, I just had just enough to pull him in there. Like, yo, get on the ice. Come on, let's go. We gotta get off the ice. He went right off the ice.
Stop playing.
But he was whole wet from right
He
here.
had good instincts too to get himself out of there too, because he had to work with you.
Yeah. People don't know about that story, right?
What's the
That story right there, because it sounds like, nah, that didn't really happen. You know, like you'll never think,
I
but
believe it.
real friends.
Life is really
He
like
was so shocked. We didn't even go home because he was soaked. He was soaked from here all the way down. And it was like, his mother is very stern. You know, Jamaican moms, like, as soon as you come in the crib, Mom, you know? So I'm like, yo, Marvin, oh shit. I said, yo, you can't go inside. You soaked, Marvin. And it was, you know, it was cold out there. The fancy pound was frozen. We went straight to my other bro house. And he was like, yo, Marvin, what happened? You know, he sweat, did a little swap out with the clothes. You know? I said, yeah, swap the clothes. And then, yeah, just tell him you were sleeping over there. She never say that.
Why don't they have fencing around it?
And he wasn't really.
pond is wild. You know that there's wild bodies. People drop bodies in there all the time. Somebody told me that.
11 years old, his body wasn't even.
Yo,
Just go
there's
there
so
to feed
many
the
people
animals.
that they do
And
bodies in there already. Yo,
Yeah.
it's really deep. It's called. I can really believe when they tell
Did
me
they
it's
just drain
cause
it?
in there.
Did they just drain it and fill it back up? I think recently just raised it.
Well, then you
Yeah.
guys, can I get
Yeah.
deep here?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's in Queens. They call it Quiet Queens, and when it came off to me as a Brooklyn chick, Quiet Queens mean that you're not that you're soft. It's just one you gotta. I'm not gonna say too much. Never mind. But I'm just gonna keep it as it's a lot happening.
Quiz is just classy Brooklyn, man.
But it's not
Bad
city.
boys
It looks
make
I
very.
hear
sound.
people say that.
Classy Brooklyn.
I always said,
Yeah,
they
and
say
it's very.
Queens is quiet, bad boys need to sound, that's what we supposed to be. And that's why a lot of times that people that's not from Queens, when they finally come out there, the first thing they say, oh shit, I didn't know they had this in Queens, or I didn't know they was doing this in Queens, or I didn't know. You know what I mean? And they be like, come on, bro, like you need to get around, like you just living.
Right. I think it's gangster people everywhere.
It's like a black
Mad
Long
skin.
Island.
It's in our nature.
Yeah, I don't even think about the Russian shit. That's like everywhere you go.
The next type of love is called storge, which is the love of your parents and of your children. So it's like that unconditional love. I guess it's like that unconditional love, like that love of the person that made you and the people that you make, I guess, right? Can anybody either of you, because I don't think you have children, but can you describe that type of love? Either for your children or for your parents or both.
Go first for the record.
Okay.
I'll say it for both.
Okay.
Because it goes hand in hand. How could you not love the woman that gave creation to you, and yet not love the offspring that you created? That's going to be here. That's set to be here. You know.
Yeah.
Before you.
Yeah.
Reflection of
Say the question again. I was just.
No, it wasn't a question. I was asking for you to describe that love, like how that manifests for you.
What love?
The love of your parents, the love that you have for parents and that relationship that you have, and then the love that you have for your children and that relationship that you have, and what kind of impact it makes on your life.
Okay, well, I don't have anyone, but a person that I definitely undoubtedly love in my life is my little brother. Our relationship is not like bosom buddies, like everywhere we go, my buddy type of situation. You know what I mean?
Who is that?
My little brother.
Oh no, we talking about parents or children?
Okay. Well, I gotta go with my parents and my mom. I don't have any children, so my mom been through a lot of shit. So the love that I have for her is the bond type of love, the branch from the tree love. You know what I mean? Like in reality, real is real. If I had to judge my mother based on her level of success, her goals, her like it wouldn't be great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But because my mom, because she carried me for those months and went out of her way to protect me while I was in there to make sure I got out.
Yeah.
That established love in itself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely love the question. Yeah, I definitely do.
That's beautiful. That's
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
dealing with the nice circumstances.
oh yeah. What?
What about father? You do have like a relationship with your father?
Now my father was murdered. Misunderstanding by accident, like intentionally murdered, but a misunderstanding that led to him being intentionally murdered. Like somebody made a comment, the guy with the gun panicked, believing that the comment meant one thing when it meant something else. So he shot my father one time in the heart. He died instantly. And you know.
This is like when you were a baby?
Yeah, this was I was young. I think I was like 4 going on 5.
Oh,
And the funny thing about it is when I was incarcerated, the dude that actually did it wound up getting sent to the same prison I was in. And he told the facility staff, hey, listen, I can't stay here because it's a guy that's here and he's a member of the Bloods gang and I did something to him and he ain't gonna let me stay here. So they're like, oh, what's his name? And he didn't know my name. He knew my father's name, but he didn't know what name I was carrying through the system. You know what I mean? So
How did he know that you were the child of the guy that he killed? How did he know that?
he know who he killed. He knew the guy that he killed had a son. And of course, in jail, you hear shit before your next door neighbor will. You know what I mean? Your next door neighbor will knock on your door and be telling you some shit he heard from somebody in jail. Hey, yo, bro, you see, y'all just up the phone with such and such, and they were just telling me, like, jail, like, what? That shit is the hotline, grapevine, like, they hear shit. So, when you in the first thing, like, people from certain areas, they stick together or they communicate with each other. We all from the Ville. So, we all know each other's family. We grew up, you know that. We all from Coney Island. We all from the Fifth Building. We all from 2-3rd. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with Queens niggas. We all from Southside. We all from LIC, the Bridge, Ravenswood, whatever, wherever you from. So when you in them circles and you moving, you'll pull up to a spot and the nigga will tell you, oh, yo, bro, you can't even stay here. You know that old boy that you man down, you know, that nigga's son is here. And that nigga's a monster. Like, that nigga's like, he ain't no baby no more. That nigga's, yeah. And then he's like, uh-oh. And he going to the staff, like, yo, yeah, I just got wind that this guy's here. He didn't know I was there. He don't know me. But somebody told him. And he went in there like, hey, listen, this is, I don't know him. He was a baby when it happened, but I know he's here. I mean, and they looked it up. Boom, boom. Then one day, it was just time to go out to eat.
Imagine like work travel.
Yo,
That's
so,
crazy.
My whole thing with the love that you have for your parents and for your children is like it's an unconditional love in that it's love that comes from actually your own love for yourself, because there's a slice of DNA in both that you could see yourself in both sides of that, right? So you could see you in your mother yourself, in your father yourself, when it comes to their personalities, the way they look, you know what I mean? All of those things give you that physical bond, right? And then over time, the things that they do for you, the way that you interact, all of those things, it comes into building who you are as a person as far as your parents, right? So that, for me personally, my dad just called me a few minutes ago. I didn't even see the call. My dad was my guy, you know what I mean? Like, I used to cry for my dad because I was primarily raised by my mother. And I just felt this peace. You always will feel this peace missing, where you feel like you will be able to be understood if you have more interaction with that other person. If you didn't be raised with both of your parents, you have that feeling where, oh man, you just not getting me, and it's probably because I need to talk to my dad. And I always had that, like, I used to always like cry because, you know what I mean, maybe I would be more understood and I would be liked more. This is how I felt as a kid, like I would be liked and preferred maybe if I had my dad, you know, and if I could talk to my dad, you know what I mean? So I did end up having that more connection with my dad as I became a teenager and I went over to the States. I was able to interact with him and get that other side, you know, which I do feel fulfilled me in a certain type of way because I kind of had more of an understanding of who I am and why I am the way I am, you know, and you know, in certain parts of my personality. And then my dad put me on as I became more of an adult. He put me on to a lot of how males operate, and you know, I was able to get that. I was able to get that input, which I'm so glad. Like, I'm really happy that I was able to learn from him in that way, you know. Some of what he taught me was a little late, but you know what I mean? I still was able to get the information, which I'm really happy about. So, you know, going forward, that I will be able to learn, be able to apply what is that I've learned, you know, in my own personal situations and also from what he taught me and just matching it all up. Well, mom was a huge influence on me when it comes to like being an entrepreneur, you know. She opened up my horizons as to what is possible and what's available to me besides school and besides you know, going and working for somebody in a corporation. There's also that other third option of building something of your own and like getting involved with technology, because technology actually happens to be the core of what pushes society. And if you understand technology, you could be on the cutting edge of where the money is made and also the influence, how the influence is being made in the world. So that I always keep my eye on what's happening as far as technology, because I know as technology progresses, that's when society progresses and everything is actually always wrapped up into whatever new technology we have.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So those are the influences, and that's why I really love my parents, because they kind of give me a roadmap of who I am and what possibilities there are. Yeah, give me pieces of the puzzle. And believe it or not, your kid gives you more pieces to your own puzzle. Believe it or not, like it shows you yourself as a kid. It shows yourself at your corest, purest form. Like what, like some of why you are the way you are. What is it that you want? You know what I mean? All of those pure, essential like needs and wants, and actually being able to provide for. It's almost like you're providing for your own self as you take care of your kid. Is like you're taking care of yourself, and it kind of heals you in a certain type of way, where you could protect a kid, protect your child the way you feel maybe you wasn't protected. You could actually listen to them how you feel you wasn't listened to, and you could give them tools that you feel like you weren't given. So it's like all of those problems that you feel like you weren't seen and weren't observed, and people weren't paying attention. You could actually heal those traumas for yourself by doing that for your kid and making sure your kid never has to really go through that. So I feel like the love that I have for my child, it comes from me wanting to be what I did not have, and making sure that they are fortified and they have what they need, you know, in order to be the best version of themselves, and not to be insecure, not to feel insecure like they don't, like they're not good enough.
Yeah, because people, they live through their kids. They do what you said the wrong way, and they'll the kids, and then it messes things up. As opposed to, okay, I'm trying to carve this person right, but at the same time, make sure I'm sane enough to do it and balancing up it.
Okay, Cleo. So why don't you go ahead and take over your about your about love, the love for your parents and for your kids, and how that has impacted your life, and describe exactly how that love manifests.
Very simple. I live in a reality where everything is mine. You can make things how you want it, but it still comes back to decision. It's behind decision is self-realization, self-love, and a healthy sense of self-realization, or when you're self-awareness.
Okay, self-awareness.
Okay, and facing things. Like, just going back to what I was saying, the world's a little messy. So having kids, if you're one of those people like me, you love kissing them, hugging them, the way they smell, they're just babies to you all the time, but you realize they will grow up, and the world out here is wild. So I love you, and sometimes it feels annoying, but it all depends on how I raise you, honestly. Because if I raise you the type of child to not be on TV and be responsible, and my homeboy said do it before 5, make them self-sufficient in a way where they can help themselves. That's part of love. Making sure they say, making wise decisions yourself, and keep questioning your sanity, and stay mentally healthy, physically healthy, because you got to stay around and make sure they're good. I mean, sometimes some people don't wash the dishes like you. You understand? So make sure. It's not their plate. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of love. But as far as my parents, I think what happened was, people were my mom just wanted love. And in the 80s, some men was just like doing their thing. And there was a lot of abuse. Because in the 70s, as a child, when I pictured, the 70s, the idea, the aesthetic, I think of niggas and white beaters, which is why they probably call the white beaters. They seem more aggressive to me. So to me, I guess I thought it was like, okay, I'm seeing this. And then it's in movies. And then at some point, people were joking about it. I'm like, this is weird. So it was that sort of time. People were self-healing. Nobody was really watching the babies. So it really affects you. And I learned a lot of things from another family member because I was too small or I wasn't there yet. So my mom loves me, but she probably just went through some stuff. So as a daughter, do I help her out of that? That's love.
Yeah.
But the question, is it going to hurt me? I love my mom. But like he said just now, if I step all the way out on the ice, they're going to have 2 souls. You know what I mean? So I have to think fast and help people,
Yeah, it's a certain level of self-preservation that you have to consider in certain situations.
It all goes back to common sense. How am I treating people? How do people see me? I'm not talking about obsession of how people think of you or what do they think. More like how there's people that rely on me. That's if you care. Because some people don't care. They really don't. And I learned that too. And I grew up around kids. I had to learn. But it was fun, and I love them, and they're sweet. So I'll be looking at them, and I just, like all kids, they deserve the best. If I could do that, that's if I care. And the best thing always materials and stuff. Making sure they're self-sufficient. They know where they at, but present it to them in certain stages in a smart way. Show them how to take care of themselves. And give them hugs and kisses. And they love it. And they're not going to be because some of y'all are like, don't hug me. But once he turns 14, he's going to get bigger from there. And it's going to be like 50 years of him being a grown man.
They need to get filled up with that love, because I think a lot of grown-ups walking around with deficits because of the lack of that. That's
a car out the driveway with not enough gas. Yeah. Like, you want a big car, where's the gas? It's like, well, you ain't really giving no fuel to get to the next station.
Yeah, so and then it becomes like so unfamiliar where they're just uncomfortable with it, but at the same time they crave it. So then they just become like overly sexualized because there's no like middle ground. There's no middle ground. Like the middle ground was uncomfortable and unfamiliar.
I don't want to sexually I don't even know
dependent.
It's not will kind of be like a representation of what I'm trying to say. It's like
Are you
It's
talking
like
about
a
people that
dependent.
doing well, he's still on that. But no, we don't have a problem with none of that. We're just asking, can we
No,
please have some
every time I say that, you get kind of like irritated. But the thing is that there are some people that are dependent on it in order to operate. There's no middle ground. There's no innocent love involved in their interactions with their mate. There's no hand holding. There's no kissing on the top of the hand. There's no kissing on the forehead. It's all about suck my dick and kiss my fucking, whatever. You know what I mean? There's no tenderness. There's no innocence at all. So that's where I say it's really sexualized, because you have no middle ground.
I feel like it is like that for some people, a lot of people. I feel the stigma is kind of complicated. Like even how difficult it was for us to initially even like the topic, and it's even still like just brushing the surface of like expressing what makes you go there, what would make you not go there, what like how to get you to that point. Like you said, tender kisses on the head, on the forehead, on the shoulder.
And hold on, you gotta make sure your partner wants to. Because sometimes if you get forceful, it's too much. But yeah.
Everything. You know, anything other than that, it's like rape, like by law, by common law, whatever, whatever.
And how they act sexually, including the number of partners, not to judge what people are doing, but it's how you handle. It's how you handle the dog. That's why in PD they give you the egg. Let me see how you treat it. It's the same way.
Let me ask you this: do you feel like if a person has a large number of partners, you can't respect them? Not like treat them decent. I mean, like, what stigma goes on them? What
For males or females?
A member of society.
Mama,
yeah, that's how I'm gonna talk.
I don't think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, that's just if you know there's risk.
Yeah.
If you go rob a bank, you can give us your sob story, but at the end of the day, if we know on the other door you had options to change your stuff going that way, we all know that. We know you know that. This is why people plead insanity. But if you act like you didn't know you had options, we're gonna hold you more accountable.
I mean, but that goes more ways than just diseases. That could be for children. That could be for attachment. There's a lot of different ways that can. Yeah, so that attachment, soul ties, even soul ties in a sense. You know what I mean? Like children, virginity. There's like a stigma with virginity being a soul tie. Like these categories are like for real. You know
there are native customs that we don't practice no more. Now we just curious Americans and people in this day and age trying to figure it out. But we used to have customs to curb all of this. There was no weirdness about it. It was like, oh, this is what we do, and it made sense.
There was no outside judgment of people that have different cultures, because it's like you would just be isolated with the people that have the same culture as you. You wouldn't be like bombarded with other different types. You know what I mean? Where you're questioning so much as to what is it you do. But what's the crazy thing is about men in general. So how y'all they get the lowdown on y'all? You getting downloads from each other? Like, how do you know like where this? How do you know if you could beat that nigga up? Like, how the hell do you know what the hierarchy is? Like, this person. It don't take no time. Like, you know exactly who this nigga is. What is that?
Everything happens ritually. Like everything happens ritually. It's repetitive. You know what I mean? If this dude's a rapo, he's gonna get it. Everybody knows he's gonna get his place. Everybody else in the spot knows that when it's time to happen, everybody's gonna know.
Like in real life, not just in prison. I'm talking about just in real life. For some reason, men always know each other and they know everything about each other. Like, into like when a man.
But that's what I was saying. When they're born, it's
That was a good one.
It's just it's sometimes easy to see from the outside. It's just a certain way, like it's a natural code. Like even when you get in middle school and people start developing, that's when you see like certain behaviors. But remember, they will continue into adulthood unless they are curved and whittled by behaviors, morals, and self-love and self-realization and changing. You know what I mean? With traumas, but you have to take responsibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
But like what I'm saying is that they literally have, I don't know what happens in their society as men, but they like say they meet you on the road, right? Somehow they will know all about you. Like they will ask questions, they will like ask about you. Or even if they like, I don't know what that's about, but I've noticed that. Maybe it's just Caribbeans. I don't know. But what do you think? Is that something dude? Like what is that?
I don't know. I can't relate to that. I mean, like, I feel like if I want to know you, I gotta like get to know you. I can't ask people because a lot of people's experiences with one particular person are different. You know what I mean? You may treat, Chris different from me, and Chris may treat you different from Chloe. So you can never like just be like, oh well, this is how it happens, and this is how it. There's no orthodox way for that to happen.
Okay. All right. Maybe it's not as widespread as I thought.
It could be a cultural thing too.
Say again?
I said it could be a cultural thing too.
Yeah, it could be a Caribbean thing. I'm starting to think maybe it's just a Caribbean thing, not a man thing. But I do know that you guys do the sizing up thing. Like I know that's an overall men thing. It's like when a person you never met before, you want to know whether you could beat his ass or if he's gonna beat your ass if anything pops off. Like who's the stronger one, who's the taller one, who's the more.
That won't me as a man. That won't ever cross my mind unless it's another nigga in the room carrying that kind of energy. You know what I mean? Like when I come in, I'm like typically the life of the party. I'm social. I'm the vibe with the vibe. You know what I mean? However, like because like I go off of body language and energy, the minute something is not right, I'm the addresser. I'm not like hey, let's wait and sit back and wait for this guy to pull his bomb out. Like, nah, hell no. You know what I mean? If I feel like it might be a kind of bomb situation, I'm gonna figure out a way to infiltrate the plot. You know what I mean? I may not get violent and get physical instantly, but I'm definitely gonna use the highest level of intelligence I got to try to articulate my way through the situation first. You know what I mean? And based on reaction, that'll determine what the degree of aggression I'm gonna use. You know what I mean? And you can't ever go into a situation wondering what might happen. Fuck all that. I know what I'm capable of doing. I mean, if that shit ain't enough, then I'm just shit out of luck at that point. But me sitting there looking at it and say, hey, damn, well, he got big hands, and if he hit me first, then I might go to sleep, and maybe his right arm looks bigger than his left arm, and like, what? Get the fuck out of here, my man. You out of line. Watch your mouth. And that's the
not even just about fighting, it's also about just being who's the alpha, and like this is a certain thing I've noticed it. I don't maybe you're not knowing what I'm talking about, but like a certain like alpha beta like type of hierarchy type of shit going on. You know what I mean? To say who's running the room right now and who's holding back.
I'll tell you something.
Is going on.
Like before, I'll tell you something. All right, so let's say you have two alpha males, right? Because a lot of times when people say alpha male, they give this inclination that there only can be one. You understand what I'm saying? So now let's say you have two alpha males. Okay, when you have two alpha males, the next level of identification is intelligence. Now let's say that these two alpha males also match on levels of intelligence. Then automatically they will be smart enough to compartmentalize the situation and draw the line in the sand.
Y'all have to be
and circle that space. You know what I mean? And now let's just say one hyena come through. It's gonna be like, hey, we might race to it. or I might have seen it first. And just as a sign of alpha male bullshit, I toss you a bone. And then the next time while I'm asleep and you might be hunting or you might catch something, I might wake up to a bone, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden now we brothers in the struggle. Now we hunting together.
But I ask about organization because people are still going to do weird stuff, but within organization, you are pinpointing things that will prevent people that are sore and jealous, but you have to be in a way where you start to see it and people have their roles. And then there's people that want your spot. And this is what I was saying about men. Men think alike. That's why even Earth can relate to a job more so than, the other way around.
Okay.
So,
okay, yeah.
you know what I mean? So the sizing up thing, that's good too because you protect people. And not only that, people are funny and people will try you. You know what I mean? But I just think organization is key. Like, how could this benefit everyone else? If you're an alpha male and I'm an alpha male, our main thing is, are the women and children good? How can we make sure? Because I like to do my thing and I make kids and so do you. But we have people that are, they don't really like that. I don't care about what you do or
may not
whatever.
be there yet.
Right. And if you ever feel that I'm overstepping, please feel comfortable to say, because I can as well. But, not just women and children, but just become better and have something that's so much written in stone that it just goes generation to generation. I think organization is key, but protected organization.
Protected organization. When you come back, we will build on that. I need clarity on that. Protected organization.
I think that's what I think that's really the role that a true alpha, like there's people that project what they perceive to be alpha as far as like being the loud filling the room with their energy, like deliberately doing that, and they think that they're projecting alpha. Yeah, they think they're projecting alpha, but the true alphas are really trying to maintain equilibrium in the space. So like that type of alpha would see a fight about to break out and he would calm that whole situation down and be like, okay, yeah, that's not how we operate and that's not what we here for type of thing, and control the whole room and control that whole situation. And to make sure that everybody's safe, and it's like somebody that everyone can rely upon. That is like the alpha, in my opinion. That's who I think is the true alpha. There's people that perpetrate as alpha, but they usually people that can attract the negative energy.
I want to be kind of like clear if you said it or not. So you feel like you feel like the alpha is somebody who can be responsible for everybody.
They naturally end up in the leadership position just based on their disposition and their level of level-headedness. They leadership position.
Okay, community, there are roles. So, as an alpha male, what other roles are there?
What do you mean after? You mean upward?
Alpha, beta, theta, delta.
I mean, because if the alpha male can't be like the strongest, the most dominant, but then be responsible for everything.
No, but that is dominant. That is dominant. If the man is the type of person, right, that he's the level of responsibility where he's the reason why he can calm everybody down and chill everybody out, because it's like, I'll literally knock you out to chill the situation out. So you need to relax.
But what if his dominance is not from a physical perspective?
It has to be smart.
What if
his dominance may be intelligence, but also the fact, I'm not saying that he will literally not necessarily knock them out. I'm saying that the situation will be, it might not be me who does it. It might be my soldier that handles the situation, but you know what I mean? You don't want me to go on you. You know what I'm saying? You don't want me to go on you. Like, just chill out.
when you are the strongest, it's like if you put in the strongest at every single time, how sure are we that the pack can survive? How sure are we that this line?
Because the thing is that person has earned their position. That's the reason why, you know what I mean? Everyone fills out when they say chill out, because they already earned that. They already earned that position. And as alpha, why their voice has authority and why people listen when they talk.
It comes from inside.
That, you know, that
alpha goes
counting, like everybody's counting on them.
Because you're alpha too, and so I'll give a situation if I could. Because I was in a situation where I could have got my ass beat, but I always had a confidence about me and the way I carried myself. We're not gonna fight. Now I didn't think it was an animal thing. It was just more of a logical thing. Because when the situation heated, deep in my mind, I'm like, this ain't gonna serve nobody. I said, listen, we're neighbors. Let's talk. You look upset. I'm a mom too. Let's talk.
Right.
I was ready to, do whatever. But does that make sense?
It's reasonable.
No, but I felt impelled, and I'm a woman, and I can't save the world, and I don't have big, strong muscles, but sometimes you gotta be smart too. And logic, no, but you gotta be smart. You can't help everyone. But it was a situation where I just took charge, and then after that, it was just like, they just started crying, and then they had stress. Because I understand, y'all got all these kids, you by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all look like you don't,
miserable, you know what I mean? Without like, not consciously. I mean, it's almost like a miserable slipping into a depression kind of miserability. You know what I mean? Like, and it's dangerous. That shit's dangerous.
It ended up in hugs and stuff, and I already know what. And it wasn't a manipulative way. I did it in a way where
it's actually
right.
because you actually, what's the word called? You de-escalated the situation.
Right.
Because you gotta think, because I be thinking, and this is why we should question war, because it's like there's nothing being solved. Like there really isn't. Like we have to see what the problem is. That's why I say we're alpha men, and it's okay to say that because at a certain point, is there a certain man that can do certain things and say certain things? Does he have the balls? Is he strong within? Because an alpha man don't have to be told. You sit down with a dwarf. But how does he carry himself, and how does he see others? Does he have a healthy empathy and apathy? You know what I mean? But apathy comes with intelligence. Like, I don't want to get too involved, but they look out for others. And for alpha men that don't feel obligated, just don't make males that are trying. Like, if you don't want to help, just stay away.
Right. Because
you're just being in the way.
Right.
And you gotta know yourself. And when you see someone else, there's no jealousy. It's like, wow, I'm gonna try that too. I'm not gonna copy you, but it helps me see that there's more, that there's better. You know?
Yeah, you have to have it in you to grow and to build and learn from others. If you can't learn from others, there's no way you could be alpha, because you're never gonna like assimilate like new skills and new skill set. If you're too arrogant, learn from others.
Yeah, that's goofy.
Yeah, don't be scared.
I think that's it, you guys. Yes, another episode of Dope Dealer Radio, Dope Dealer TV in the can.
Finished on Zoom. So
we've got our special guest. Chris has hit the hay.
Yeah, because he's been up early, but we appreciate him being here. And he said he's one of those people he wants to be. But I'll dabble a little bit, just leave it alone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Respectfully.
I've done my fair share.
We appreciate it. You know.
All right, I've been Lena Created.
Cleo Badashian.
See Rory. Okay.
All right, and this has been Dope Dealer Radio /TV. Peace.
And we're coming back. Don't worry, calm down. All right, bye. You're missing us.
Dope Dealer, vote bigger than your nigga.